today's video we are going to be doing our Champions League predictions for the quarter-final stage. So, the Champions League quarter-finals are here on Tuesday and Wednesday. They will be taking place the first legs, and we have got some really good ties, I must say. So, I'm going to be predicting the first legs today. Now I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the ties as a whole in general, and then I'll predict specifically just the first legs. So yeah, let me know your predictions for the first legs of the Champions League, and let's just get straight into it. So the first tie we have here is Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan. Bayern Munich, the home side for the first leg. So, I should also caveat this, as always, I'm filming this before the weekend fixtures, so injuries, suspensions, stuff might happen to influence it, but anyways, this is a really good tie. This is a really good tie. I think these are two fairly evenly matched sides, to be honest. I think we've got one of the best attacking sides left in the competition in Bayern Munich versus one of the best defensively in Inter Milan, so it's really a clash of styles here. Now, a big thing for Bayern Munich going into this game is they've suffered a couple injuries to Upamecano and Alphonso Davies, both of whom are looking like they're out for the rest of the season. And that is a big loss because both have had really good seasons so far, and Davies has done really well on an attacking sense for Bayern Munich. He scored a lot actually in the Champions League. I think he scored versus Leverkusen, scored the winner against Celtic, and he's been a real contributor down that left-hand side. And Upamecano, while, you know, historically he's not been particularly amazing for Bayern Munich, he has actually had a pretty good season this year, and kind of gone under the radar, and he'll be a big miss at the back because Eric Dyer and Rafael Guerrero will be coming in, and in the first game they played they conceded 2 versus a struggling St. Pauli side in the Bundesliga, so not a good sign. Obviously they're both decent players, but then they're going to lose a lot with Davis and Upamecano out, particularly with the way Bayern play. They play with such a high line, and I think that's something Inter could exploit if Bayern continue to play with it in this game, because Inter, counter-attacking wise, are some of the best in Europe. Defensively they're fantastic in these big games. I know in Serie A they've maybe not been as solid as they once were, but when it comes to the big games they're superb. I don't think they conceded a goal, or they conceded only 1 goal in the league phase of the Champions League. They just know how to grind out these games. I think Inzaghi, tactically, he's, to be honest, he's far better in my opinion than Vincent Kompany, who this is first sort of big European clash. I know they were pretty impressive versus Leverkusen, they were very impressive, but this is his first really big high pressure game against a fantastic tactician, a team with lots of experience in Inter. The first leg's going to be crucial for Bayern though. At home, I think they have to win this game because Inter are very strong at home. That being said, Bayern are very strong as well, so I think it's really going to come down to these home games. But I just see Inter going there. You know what to expect from them in these Champions League ties. They're going to sit back, defend deep, and try and hit him on the counter in this first leg away from home. And I think they're going to do that. I think they're going to frustrate Bayern Munich. I don't think there's actually going to be too many goals in this. I think it'll probably be, you know what, I'm going to say it's just going to be a 0-0. It might be really dull. I'm just going to say Bayern score first, just to bank my points in here. Oh, okay, I'll go 0-0. Oh. Wow, okay, they've added all of yeah, I think it will be a 0-0. I think Inter are going to hold out in this game. I think the defence is going to be too strong for Bayern's attack, who, while Bayern's attack has been good, I mean, like, they've struggled against some really elite defences to score. So, yeah, I think Inter are going to hold out for a 0-0 at the Allianz. I don't think Kane is going to score. This is a big game for someone like Kane to step up. I think Inter will keep a clean sheet, and there we go. I think Inter are going to hold out in this first leg for 0-0 and take us back to the second leg where it'll be all to play for. Okay, next up we have Arsenal versus Real Madrid. So, another fantastic tie. So we got Arsenal, who pretty much it's do or die. This is all they've got to play for left in the Champions League. Nothing else left in the season to play for. Whereas Real Madrid are actually still chasing their first ever treble. So, yeah, and of course the holders of the competition. But this is going to be really interesting because both teams, maybe in terms of their performances, haven't actually had the best of seasons. Like Arsenal, we all know their struggles this year, but Real Madrid, even though I said they're still in for a treble, I don't think they've actually played fantastically barely any times this entire season. They've sort of just been grinding their way through games. I mean, you look at their form, like 4-4 against Sociedad, 3-2 against Leganes, 2-1 versus Villarreal, 2-1 against Vallecano. They've not really had a convincing 1 to 90 minute win since maybe the Man City second leg. So Arsenal can definitely have some hope in that, even though Arsenal haven't been the best themselves and had their struggles. Arsenal, you know, we also talk about the attack have sort of struggled, particularly in the absence of Saka, but Real Madrid defensively are really, really poor. So that will be something Arsenal will be hopeful they can actually score against this Madrid side, particularly with Saka, who is going to be back for this game, which is going to be huge. Now the problem for Arsenal is defensively Arsenal are very, very strong, but they are missing Gabriel for this game. He will miss both legs, mostly likely the rest of the season. And that's a big miss, because even though Real Madrid defensively are bad, we all know their attack is lethal, and they will score goals. They have some of the best attackers in world football at their disposal, so without Gabriel, are Arsenal going to be able to hold out this Real Madrid side? It's tough. I think Arsenal, if you want to progress, you have to win the first leg. If Arsenal don't win this first leg, I genuinely think the tie is done. Like, honestly, not because Arsenal are a bad side, just because I don't see a world where Arsenal go to the Bernabeu and beat Real Madrid. I just don't see it. You can't go to the Bernabeu in a second leg in a Champions League knockout and chase in the game, needing to win. Very few teams in the last 5 years have gone to the Bernabeu in a second leg of a knockout game and won when they needed to. So yeah, I don't think Arsenal would. So this first leg's gonna be huge for Arsenal. I think Real Madrid are just gonna sort of survive, sort of do what they did against Man City. I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna say it ends 1-1. I think it'll be a draw. I think it'll end a draw, which will favour Real Madrid. But I don't think Arsenal will lose. I don't think they'll lose this first leg. But I'm not sure they have it in them to win. I think both defences are bad enough that they'll both concede, but I think it'll end a goal-scoring draw. I think Arsenal might score first. I think Arsenal might be winning at half-time, and then Real Madrid come in, and who will be the first player to score? Oh my days, these are some really, really precise things. Let's just go Saka. analysis? No. Okay, sure. Right, next up we have Barcelona versus Borussia Dortmund. So, a pretty interesting clash here because these two, of course, faced each other in the league phase of the Champions League campaign, and now they are back facing each other in the quarter-finals. Now, in that league phase game, it was quite a close game, but Barcelona came out on top. I think it was 2-1. In the end, it was a really entertaining game, but I remember watching that. It was really good, and it was quite an even game, but both teams are in very different stages now because Borussia Dortmund have a new manager since then. They have Niko Kovac, who, to be fair, has actually done pretty decent. Since joining Dortmund, they're slowly picking up. I mean, still very inconsistent in the Bundesliga, but in the Champions League have been pretty good. And one thing you will sort of guarantee over the course of these two legs is surely goals. When these two are the two highest scoring teams in the league phase, as you can see, they both score a bunch of goals. Barca have perhaps the best attack in Europe right now. They're scoring goals for fun, but they also are not the most tight defensively. They are susceptible to conceding some goals, and Dortmund definitely can score some goals. So this is going to be a real goal fest in my opinion. Borussia Dortmund away the first leg. I think if they can come away with a draw, they're going to be over the moon because we all know Dortmund at home in a Champions League knockout game, they're pretty good. They're pretty good at home. So Barca, they have to win this first leg. They have to win this first leg. And I think they need to sort of build up a lead. I think they need to get a 2-goal lead in this first leg. Because even a 1-goal lead over Dortmund away from home, even though I think Barca are definitely the better side, just that factor of Dortmund being home the second leg gives them a hope if they can just survive in this first leg. That being said, Barca are superb at home. Their attack has just been lethal. They've sort of just been running through teams. No matter who comes up against them, they always seem to score a bunch of goals. And I think that will continue in this first leg. I see it ending 3-1 Barcelona. As I said, I think there'll be plenty of goals, but I think Barca will get the job done. Rafinha has been amazing in the Champions League and stepped up, and they're going to need him to step up again in this one. Same with Girassi, the two highest scorers in this Champions League. So yeah, but I think Barca will have enough in them to get the job done at home and build up a decent lead, a 2-goal lead. Alright, and the final quarter-final we have is PSG versus Aston Villa. So PSG, I mean this is actually one of the funnest ties I think out of a lot, because there's so many narratives here. It's absolutely hilarious because firstly we have Unai Emery, the Aston Villa manager, coming up against his former club PSG, looking to exact revenge on them. But then there's a even greater narrative here because if you remember, Emery was in charge of PSG when they lost that famous game to Barcelona 6-1, that crazy collapse. And the manager of Barca at the time was Luis Enrique, who is the manager of PSG now. So Emery's looking to exact revenge on PSG and Luis Enrique for what happened then at Barca, which is pretty funny, but I mean, historically, it's almost symbolic because historically this is a game PSG mess up. This is a game PSG mess up against a team they're expected to beat, and they somehow mess it up in Europe. That being said, I mean, PSG this season look a team sort of revitalised, changed, a new look PSG team. So this is going to be the test. Are they truly that? After their win against Liverpool, everyone's sort of saying they've changed, they're a new team, and maybe they could go all the way. But let's see if they are up against Villa, because on paper you expect PSG to win it, but I mean, don't discount Villa. They're in some great form, and Unai Emery in these European clashes, he knows how to get next season. They've beaten Bayern Munich, this Villa side, in the league phase, so Villa can cause PSG some problems, and they're going to have to rely on the experience on a couple of their boys like Rashford and Asensio, who have played in these big ties. Rashford, another thing coming up against PSG, he has some good memories against them, obviously, with United knocking them out in that famous comeback, and Asensio is perhaps the favourite thing about this tie. Marco Asensio is on loan to Villa from PSG, and he is eligible to play against them, so we could see a Coutinho part 2 here, and he could knock them out. But yeah, look, the first leg is at Paris. PSG must win this first leg. They need to win it. I know last time in the round of 16 they lost the first leg against Liverpool and beat Liverpool away, but I don't think you're going to be able to afford those liberties again. You can't take that risk. Villa are going to be pretty strong at home, so I think you just need to sort of like Barca, try and get the job done and build up a lead in this first leg really at home. And for Villa, just survive. You take a 1-goal deficit back to Villa Park, I think you definitely take that. And a draw would be absolutely superb. But don't lose by more than 2 goals. I think though, PSG, as much as I think Villa will frustrate them, I think eventually PSG will get the win, and it'll be 2-0 PSG. I think it'll be 2-0 PSG. I actually think Villa might frustrate them for a while. I think it might be 0-0 in the first half, but then PSG come out on top, and eventually Ousmane Dembélé is going to be crucial in this game as well. He's been fantastic for PSG, but I think they'll get the job done in the first leg. I'll play the 2 times booster on this one. Right, before we go, I want to quickly change my fantasy as well, and have a look at how it did for the round of 16. So we got 47 points in the first one, but we got 67 in the next round. That was pretty good actually. We did pretty well here with Rafinha captain. He's been cooking. Right, let's make some changes. So Pavlidis has got to go. Okay, and Salah has to go. Wirtz has to go. Van Dijk has to go. Karsdorp has to go. Mingele has to go, and Grimaldo also has to go. Like that. Alright, who do I want to bring in? I think we want to bring in Hakimi. I think he could potentially get a clean sheet and attack in return. Do I want to bring in Mbappe? I probably do, to be honest. I think it's time to bring in Mbappe. He's done really well recently for Madrid. He's done well in the Champions League. So I think we bring in Mbappe. And then we want, who do I want in midfield? Midfielders, let's have a look. Who can we get? Musiala, maybe Adeyemi, Barcola. Oh, actually, Dembele. Oh, we already have Dembele. Bellingham, nah. Pedri, maybe Pedri. Actually, no, I already have 3 Barcelona players. You know what? I might actually just go Adeyemi. Because I do think Dortmund might be able to cause some problems. Actually, no, we'll go for Elise against Inter. Then we need a defender. Let's go. So we got 2 Inter ones there. I think we get a Barca one. Then we get Koundé in, and I think we get in. Nah, we already got 2 Inter. Let's go for Ferland Mendy, maybe Kabasi. Actually, let's go Pacho. Actually, Mendes will get some attacking returns. I need another goalkeeper as well. We'll take Courtois, and then in the midfield as in for Bastoni, like that's we'll keep the captaincy on Rafinha, and I think we want Kunde in as well. Wait, no, I don't want to transfer him out. Back, and we will sub in Kunde for Jurassi maybe. Yeah, I think we take out Jurassi. Actually, no, you know what? We'll bring in Courtois for Kobel. I do actually want to start Jurassi. I think Dortmund might score out, take out Elise, and we'll go like that. Alright, there we go. But anyways, that is my predictions for the Champions League quarterfinals. Let me know yours in the comments below. And if you have enjoyed, please do leave a like. Consider subscribing